Welcome to Dallas, Texas, the city where I was born and raised, the city that's given me everything that I love and hold dear to my heart. I know the pros and the cons, the good and the bad. I know what makes me proud to live right here in Dallas. I also know its dirty little secrets. So in this video, we're going to discuss the pros and cons of living right here in my city, Dallas, Texas. So stay tuned. My name is Richard Soto, a local real estate broker with VIP Realty right here in Dallas. And if you're new to the channel, please consider hitting that subscribe button as we do weekly videos talking all about living, working, and playing right here in the DFW area. So in this video, we're going to cover the pros and the cons of living right here in Dallas from an insider. What can I say? There's a lot to love in regards to living right here in Dallas. We have one of the most beautiful skylines in the world, some of the friendliest people that you'll ever meet, some of the best museums in the country. And let me tell you, the food and dining options here in Dallas are absolutely exceptional. Before we get into the pros and cons of living in Dallas, I want to take a second to thank all of my subscribers and viewers. We've gotten a ton of publicity recently. We've been featured in the Wall Street Journal, the London Times. We made it international. CBS Radio, we were just on affiliate in Killeen, Abilene area, I believe was ABC. So we're getting a ton of publicity because of our videos, and it's all because of our subscribers and viewers. And I just want to say I greatly appreciate it. Thank you very much. Now let's go ahead and get into the pros of living in Dallas, because you know I like my dessert first. And the first pro is going to be the cost of living. There's no question that the cost of living is rising throughout the U.S. and I'm sure throughout the world. Housing costs are going up. And if you purchased a car recently, if you can find one, the prices are outrageous. You'll probably have to pay over a sticker. So no doubt about it, prices are rising everywhere. But here in Dallas and throughout the state of Texas, in the major cities, the cost of living is still affordable when compared to other major cities throughout the country. This can be attributed to lower cost energy, local food sources, minimal regulations, and vast spaces that make building new homes and developments much cheaper. Here's how other cities compare to Dallas in terms of cost of living. New York City is 84.3% more expensive, Los Angeles 70.6% more expensive, and Boston is 59.6% more expensive. Also note that Texas does not have state income tax, so that will help you keep more cash in your pocket as well. Okay, moving on to the second pro of living right here in Dallas, Texas, and that's going to be employment opportunities and the economy. The economy of Dallas is one of the best economies. We have some of the best job growth of any other city in the country. It is an absolute blessing to live right here in Dallas. So if you're looking for a job or you want to scale your business, this is going to be the city for you. DFW has returned to its normal front-running position as the best performing major region economy in the U.S. The latest economic indicators show a complete recovery of jobs lost during the COVID-19 pandemic and a return to pre-pandemic job creation rates. DFW is now at 101% of our pre-pandemic job level, though the mix of jobs is different. We lag like other regions and lost hospitality jobs, but we added 70,300 professional and business service jobs, 64,500 trade and transportation jobs, and 24,400 financial jobs in the past 3 years. As you can see from the data, and as we always say, the numbers don't lie. If you're looking for employment opportunities right here in Dallas, and if you haven't found a job, let me just keep it real with you. You're not looking that hard, because there's ample opportunities for employment right here in Dallas. So if you want to scale your business, you're looking for a new career, or you want to excel in your current career, Dallas might be the place for you. Okay, moving on to the next pro of living right here in Dallas, and that's going to be arts and entertainment. I'm going to break this into several subcategories because There are numerous things to do on a weekly, weekend basis. You'll never get bored if you live right here in Dallas. I'm telling you, there are activities nonstop. But let's start with the first subcategory, and that's going to be arts and museums. No matter what type of entertainment you enjoy or what kind of art you appreciate, Dallas has everything you can ever want. You can enjoy the Arts District, including Uptown, Highland Park, Trinity Grove, and Deep Ellum. The Downtown District is also home to AT&T Performing Arts Center, which is one of the nation's finest performing centers and offers the best in live theater, opera, pop, ballet, comedy, and the finest dance companies from across the globe who perform here. The Dallas Arts District is one of the nation's most elaborate and most visited city art districts. If you're looking to study and appreciate art, the Dallas Museum of Art is a great place to visit as well. Okay, moving on to the next pro, and that's going to be nightlife. If you're wanting to go to a club, or maybe you just want to sit on a patio and have a drink, there's plenty of nightlife attractions, whether you're single and ready to mingle, or if you're married and want to go on a date night, there are going to be numerous options for nightlife right here in Dallas. It has been noted that nightlife in Dallas can be just as satisfying as places like New York, Boston, and London, and many other great cities around the world, as some clubs that emulate Las Vegas or Miami. I'm going to highlight a few spots in Dallas that cater to the club scenes, the cocktail lounge vibe, as well as artsy and vibrant spots in the city. Starting with number 1, Deep Ellum. Among all these areas to visit, the premier location for enjoying the nightlife in Dallas would be Deep Ellum. Deep Ellum has an endless selection of bars, clubs, venues, shops, and restaurants to enjoy until the late night hours of the morning. One of the most well-known features of Deep Ellum would be the performance venues there, where local, international, and foreign acts alike perform for music enthusiasts. Moving on to the next area of Dallas in regards to nightlife is going to be Uptown. And please bear with me as I know it's very noisy. That's what happens when you're trying to film in the city. I got landscapers going on. I got dogs. I got food trucks. A lot going on, the trolleys passing by. That's why I actually like coming to Dallas, because I love all the activity surrounding me. So moving on to Uptown Dallas, what can I say? It's for a younger crowd, 20s, early 20s, where you have numerous options in regards to bars, not necessarily clubs per se, but if you want cocktails outside on a sunny, beautiful, glorious Dallas, Texas day, just like today, by the way, it's sunny. It's going to be 70. Perfecto right here in Dallas. So if you're looking for a younger crowd, you just want to have a couple of cocktails, get some laughs, enjoy the day, and see some very attractive people walking by, then Uptown Dallas is going to be your destination. Another great area in regards to nightlife here in Dallas is going to be Lower Greenville. Just like Uptown, you're going to have access to a lot of different bars and some great dining options as well. There's a lot of activity, especially at night. So if you're looking for something to do after hours, those are going to be your main areas to visit, whether it's Uptown Dallas, Deep Ellum, Lower Greenville, and not to mention there's a lot of bars and restaurant options as well in downtown Dallas. So those are just a few of the areas that you'll want to visit if you're looking for some late night hour entertainment. Okay, moving on to the next topic, and that's going to be parks and recreation. As you can see, I'm right here in Cladwell Park, right in the heart of the city in downtown Dallas. This is probably going to be my favorite park, mainly because there's a ton of food, numerous margarita vendors nearby. If I want to go to Mi Cocina, sit on the patio, I can overlook the kids tossing the football, and of course the majestical downtown Dallas skyline. And if I want to be cheap or save some money, we can hit up a food truck, grab a hot dog, a slice of pizza, very inexpensive. So the downtown Dallas Cladwell Park is going to be number one on my list. However, there's tons of parks throughout the Dallas area as well. Dallas has one of the country's best park systems. The Dallas-Fort Worth metro area is built along the Trinity River, and the Trinity River Corridor project is a park project that will eventually be 10 times the area of New York Central Park. The Dallas Park System is one of the largest in the nation and includes 397 parks and over 20,118 acres of green space. So if you want to be outside and enjoy the vitamin D that the sun provides right here in Dallas, you're going to have endless spots that you can visit for the park system. Not to mention, we also have different lakes right here throughout the Dallas area, so plenty of outdoor activities. While we don't have the beach here in Dallas, which is a con, there are still a lot of outdoor activities that you can do on a daily basis, and best of all, they're free. Staying on the topic of entertainment, let's move on to sports. And if you relocate to the Dallas area, you're probably going to be a Dallas Cowboys fan, which they play out of the AT&T Stadium in Arlington. The roof retracts. And let me tell you something, if you relocate to Dallas or if you're just visiting, it's definitely worth a tour of checking out the Cowboys Stadium. But your typical weekend when you live in Dallas is going to consist of watching the Dallas Cowboys. I personally myself prefer the NBA, and I would rather take in a Dallas Mavericks game at the American Airlines Center right here in Victory Park. But in regards to sports, there's going to be a ton of professional sports that you and your family can enjoy. We have the Texas Rangers in Arlington. We have the FC Dallas MLS soccer team. We have the Dallas Wings, the WNBA. So a ton of professional sports. If you're a sports enthusiast like myself, we have numerous colleges right here locally as well. But my favorite of all is watching the competitive high school youth AAU basketball teams right here in the area. As most of you already know, I have an AAU program right here in Dallas called Be Elite Basketball, and I have some of the very best kids in the country that I love and adore. And let me tell you something, you could give me Dallas Mavericks tickets, or I could go watch one of my boys play, and I'll go watch my kids play each and every single time. So if you're into sports, you're going to love living in Dallas. It's that time of the day, as you already know, it's my favorite time, which is lunchtime, and we're moving on to the next pro, and that's going to be dining options. Dallas is going to have so many options in regards to dining, and not only dining options, some of the best dining in the world is right here in Dallas. I'm downtown at Nursery, also known as Salt Bay. I can see the Dallas skyline right in front of me. To the corner right here is Clyde Warren Park. What an amazing view. So let's get into the details in regards to dining right here in Dallas. Dallas has definitely reinvented itself in the last several years in the restaurant world. We have chefs from around the world that bring unique and specialty flavors to Dallas. In fact, BonAppetit.com ranked Dallas as the #1 restaurant city of the year. Dallas may be known for probably some of the best barbecue that there is, but there is much more. As you already know, I love Mexican food, and you can find tacos anywhere and everywhere you go, even taquerias in a gas station that are cooked fresh and made to order. Beyond Tex-Mex, you will find international cuisine from Nepal, Southeast Asia, Indian, and Jamaican foods as well. There are so many more different types of foods in Dallas, it would take too long to name them all. It is very difficult to mention some of my favorite spots to dine because there are so many great establishments. Some of my favorite restaurants are the gas station on MacArthur at 635. Obviously, I love Nicocina Mexican Sugar, Gloria's, but I got a feeling that this tomahawk steak I just ordered is going to blow away those steak tacos. So stay tuned and I'll give you my honest review of lunch right here at Salt Bay. Oh, wow.
Beautiful. Tomahawk. Wow.
Let's see if it's better than my Foreman grill.
Salt Bay, Dallas, Texas. Yeah.
You guys enjoy.
Awesome, bro. Appreciate it. just wrapped up lunch here at Salt Bay. What can I say? That tomahawk steak was amazing. Oh my gosh. The food here is absolutely great. About to have this dessert for the first time. I ate at Salt Bay when I was in Miami recently. I believe it's called baklava, if I'm not sure if I'm saying it right, but I'll let you know how it is. It looks pretty good. And the great thing about when they brought out this dessert, they brought me out some extremely strong coffee, which I need after eating that massive meal. I really feel like taking a nap. So if you're in Dallas, come to downtown Dallas and meet my guy, Miles. He's an exceptional server, will give you exceptional service. Not to mention the food is absolutely amazing. Moving on to the next pro, and that's going to be diversity. Texas is going to be one of the most diverse states in the country, and Dallas is no exception. It's going to be one of the most diverse cities in the country as well. Over the past few decades, the state's demographics have been shifting. Texas is one of the most diverse states in the nation. It's getting more so. This is great news, as we all know the positive aspects of living in a diverse society, including new perspectives, more innovation, and improved understanding across cultures, to name a few. A 2020 U.S. Census study ranked Texas as the second most diverse state in the country. In fact, the Lone Star State only ranked behind California when it comes to diversity. Okay, moving on to the next pro, and that's going to be Southern hospitality. Now, if you're a subscriber to my channel, and maybe you've read some of the comments, you might think that most people in Texas don't have that Southern hospitality, but let me assure you that we do. The majority of Texans, especially people right here in Dallas, are very accepting, kind, and loving. And if you just relocated right here to Dallas, they're going to take you in and befriend you and accept you. So if you're looking for a city that embraces new people, new faces, you're going to love Dallas. I have some of the best friends, the kindest people I've ever met. I've met right here in Dallas that absolutely changed my life in a variety of different ways. If you want to live in a city where people are going to be kind, generous, and genuine, Dallas is going to be the place to call home. Moving on to the next pro, and that's going to be no state income tax. And basically what that means is the more money you earn, you get to keep it in your wallet, in your household. Use it towards your bills, towards your kids' college fund, or towards your investment portfolio. No state income tax right here in Texas is absolutely amazing. Don't get too excited though. To fund state and local projects, property tax and sales tax are often higher in Texas than in other states. So if you're buying a home in Dallas, be sure to budget for higher than average property taxes to avoid sticker shock. So depending on how you look at it, maybe it's a pro, maybe it's a con, but I, for one, definitely see it as a pro. Moving on to the cons of living in Dallas, and I'm going to cover the worst con, in my opinion, and that's going to be the weather in Texas. What can I say? Today, it's a glorious, beautiful 70-degree sunny day. It's absolutely perfect. However, the weather in Dallas isn't perfect year-round, unlike places like San Diego. So one thing I really dislike about living in Dallas, and that's going to be the summer heat. Let me tell you something, in July and August, it is brutal. I am extremely hot-natured, and quite frankly, if I'm showing homes during the summer, I'm probably gonna be in a polo and some shorts because I am extremely hot-natured and I will be perspiring like I just ran a marathon. So if you relocate to Dallas, be prepared for the summer heat. It is unlike anything you've ever felt before. And not to mention, the weather has been really crazy here in regards to the winter the last several years. It's been snowing more than ever, or more than I can ever recall. You know, once again, I've lived here my entire life, and I don't recall the weather being this severe during the wintertime. So this is the first time that I can remember it's snowing this much. I don't know what's going on with the environment, but the weather is definitely changing. Not to mention, the weather is very bipolar. It can be sunny, it can be raining, it can be thundering, thunderstorming. You can have a tornado later this evening. When I go through my weather app, literally this week, it went from 70 to snowing out of the blue to the very next morning, it's sunny and 70 again. The Texas weather is very odd, so be prepared for that because you're not going to have consistent weather if you live right here in Dallas. Moving on to the next con of living in Dallas, and that's going to be the public education right here in Dallas. The Dallas Public Independent School District is definitely not one of the best public school systems in the state nor the country. So if you live in Dallas, this is going to be definitely a con. Unfortunately, Dallas public schools do not make the grading rankings. Let me share some stats with you regarding DISD. The district's average testing score is 5 out of 10, which is in the bottom 50% of public schools in Texas. Dallas ISD ranks number 636 out of 1,201 school districts, which is in the bottom 50%. The school district's graduation rate is 85%. These stats don't sound very good to me. Don't get me wrong, there are top-rated schools in Dallas. However, most are magnet schools, preparatory schools, and very expensive private institutions. So needless to say, the Dallas ISD is severely lacking. However, I'm a firm believer that our kids get the best education at home. I have kids in my basketball program from all over the DISD, and let me tell you, they have exceptional grades. They're going to be extremely successful adults, and a couple are probably going to go to Harvard and MIT. So is the Dallas Independent School District going to make or break your child? Absolutely not, because you're going to do your job at home as a parent, so it really doesn't matter. But let's just keep it real. Would we prefer to send our kids to an exceptional school district, whether it's Highland Park, Capel, Frisco, Plano? Absolutely. So just something to consider if you're relocating to Dallas with a family. Saying that, as I stated earlier, there are different areas of Dallas where you can have an exceptional public education. Okay, moving on to the next con here in Dallas, and that's going to be traffic. What can I say? The Dallas traffic is horrendous. Whether you're on 35, 635, the tollway, 75, north, south, east, west, it doesn't matter. There is constant construction, and unfortunately, there's a lot of accidents as well. So whenever I'm maneuvering throughout the Metroplex, I always give myself at least a 30-minute leeway to make sure I arrive at my final destination on time. When over 1 million people move to Dallas over a decade, you will likely run into some traffic problems with your commutes. Compared to other major cities, the traffic problems in Dallas aren't necessarily all that bad, but compared to the majority of the smaller cities and the rest of Texas, Dallas has the worst congested highways. However, if you're traveling to Dallas to work remotely, you can plan around the business traffic patterns or rely on adult public transportation. Oh my goodness, guys, it's such a beautiful day. I love coming to downtown Dallas. It's hard to beat. One of my favorite cities in the entire world that I'm so blessed to call it home. I am a realist. I know in some of my videos I get a lot of slack from the commenters that say we have a beach. I know that we don't. I know our weather isn't perfect like San Diego. I love downtown Chicago mainly because of the lake that flows through the downtown area. So there's a lot of places that I will frequent and me and my kids like to visit. But as far as living on a day-to-day basis, the cost of living, when you add up all the pros, Dallas is hard to beat. This is literally one of the best cities in the world to live. My home city where I was born and raised. I am blessed and fortunate to call Dallas home. And just as importantly, both of my boys were born right here in the DFW Metroplex as well. So we have a long history of Sotos living right here in Dallas. Moving on to the next con, and that's going to be housing and real estate. The prices in DFW have increased dramatically every year the last several years. And from what I see, there's no signs of slowing down. The Dallas real estate market is one of the most active and hot real estate markets in the entire country. And with good reason. We have a great economy. The prices of homes are somewhat less compared to the rest of the country. So there's a lot to love of living right here in Dallas. However, if you're thinking that you can still purchase a brand new home in the $300,000 price range, let me tell you, it's not going to happen. It's just not happening in the DFW Metroplex. We get calls from around the country, and oftentimes the clients are somewhat sticker shock that they can't get a steal in Dallas. Just not going to happen anytime soon. Okay, moving on to the last con, which is going to be public transportation or the lack thereof. If you're moving from New York or Chicago, you're not going to have the same type of public transportation as you did in those major cities. We have the DART. However, it pales in comparison to other major cities. It's not very reliable. It's not dependable. While it does take you to some of the major attractions in Dallas, the DFW airport, parts of Collin County, such as Plano, it's still not an effective way to get around town. And at the end of the day, if you're going to reside in Dallas, you're going to have to need a car because everything is so spread out. And if you think you can rely on public transportation alone, you are severely wrong, because that is no way to get around town. So you're going to need a vehicle. And, you know, I'm not a DART person per se, as I've only taken the DART train a couple of times, and it was more for fun to take my kids on it. So I wouldn't depend on Dallas's public transportation. So in my opinion, it's going to be a major con if you live right here in Dallas. One thing that you need to know about Texas is that it does not have good public transportation system. It is not walkable, with a transport that is not very dependable. It has a light rail system, the Dallas Area Transit, which is named DART, which can take you to a number of tourist attractions. Other transport options include buses, and they can take you to various locations, though you may need to learn to do transfers, which could be time consuming. Made it back to my home office, changed, getting ready to hit the streets, head to the gym and start coaching my B-Elite basketball players. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you're thinking about relocating to the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex or throughout the state of Texas, my team and I would love to assist you with your next real estate transaction. And as always, we'll see you on the next video.